Welcome to No Apologies with Becker on Beck, and Becker is not here. My name is Lori Hinz. I am sitting at the Bourbon Bureau again today. I'm actually exploring it a little bit now. I know more of the things that are in the Bourbon Bureau now. And with me, very thankful to have Daryl Lease.
Glad to be here.
President of the North Dakota Farm Bureau, and he's been sitting in all week and helping me out. And tonight, I think we've got a fantastic show. As always, we've had some amazing guests this week, but this one,
we've had a ton of information, and tonight we're going to talk a little agriculture.
I am so excited about that, too, with an expert, too, between you and he. So, all right, we're starting tonight with a story about how various Republican states have all decided that it is time to end the unemployment benefits. And 23 states are now at that point where they have ended unemployment benefits, including on Monday the 10th, North Dakota's Governor Doug Burgum announced in a press release that North Dakota would be ending its participation in the federal government's plan, the pandemic-related unemployment assistance programs. That will end for us in North Dakota on June 19th. And North Dakota's written notice from Burgum to end the involvement was provided to the U.S. Department of Labor on Monday, May 10th. So that has been done. And then after that, many other states have also been following up. Republican states have one by one decided that the unemployment benefits were actually harming states' abilities to keep people back in work. And so the number of states opting out has reached 23 this week with the addition of Florida. Let's take a look at the graphic, and I'll talk a little bit more about this story and set it up a little bit. So the Department of Economic Opportunity, it says there, on Monday announced that Florida will stop participating in the federal pandemic unemployment compensation program, which provided an extra $300 per week in unemployment benefits beginning June 27th for them. Florida will continue to participate in two separate programs that provide jobless benefits to gig workers and others typically not eligible for benefits, and extend state unemployment benefits once they have been exhausted. Now, these are the listing of the states in this next one that are already participating, and I want you to take note because you will see that they are probably mostly all Republican. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, New Hampshire, there we are, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, and Wyoming have all said that they will drop out of the program this summer. So Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, in this Newsmax story in the next slide, said that during the COVID-19 pandemic, he said, we tried to get money out the door, particularly the federal money that we were able to get, and that was appropriate, he said. Now we are just in a much different situation, and we are in a completely different situation. Don't you think so too, Darryl?
Yeah, we're in a way different situation, and you know, the thing is we had so many unknowns to start off about a year ago, a little over a year ago. Those unknowns have become more clear. People need to get back to work.
Exactly.
And we've got our neighbor to the east over here, Minnesota, Governor Walz, announcing today that he will continue it, and he doesn't think that it disincentivizes working.
How can you honestly not understand how that works? And I'm going to show you some numbers a little later on here in this segment. I've got some numbers to give you a feel for what exactly we're talking about here too. But I also wanted to bring up the fact that there are those, in addition to other Democrats who are very adamant that we need to not stop, you know, the trough.
Right.
and that's, if we're talking egg, this is the feeding trough, and that is just the way it is. So Democrat lawmakers in Florida are pushing back on DeSantis. Let's take a look at that Newsmax article here. Democrat lawmakers in the state slammed the announcement as shocking and wrong and shameful. And they said this was kind of shocking if you want to know the truth. When I saw what was being done, said Senator Linda Stewart, a Democrat who represents part of Orange County. She told Click Orlando. She says, I think that it's wrong for them to slash this money at this time, and I think the benefits are owed to the people. The benefits are owed to the people. Listen to your words.
Wow.
Yeah, she said that DeSantis does not seem to have an idea of what the struggles are out there the community and what they have been for over a year, she says. Let's go to the next one. This is the one from the Federalist, and I took this little clip. No, I take it back. This is the Newsmax one. Okay, so Representative Anna Escamani, a Democrat from Orlando, said in a statement to the Tampa Bay Times that it's shameful, she said, that Florida's political leaders would choose ideological talking points. Now, I'm just going to stop there because it seems to me that these people do not understand economics at all.
No.
We're talking economics.
It's economics 101.
It is. Now go back to the graphic, please, because the end of this one is unbelievable. This is, she says, okay, they would choose ideological talking points and call workers lazy versus listen to the obstacles workers have faced in finding suitable work in our still recovering economy. Now leave that up for a second so people can look at that, because first of all, I don't think he ever called workers lazy.
No.
In any of his statements. So that's something that she ascribed to the workers, not he. And then the other part about that I thought was very interesting is there's a word in there between finding and work. She says finding suitable work.
Yeah.
So that seems a little picky to me too, because there are so many employers who desperately need.
It's across all spectrums. It's not just limited to one spectrum.
It is. It's all different businesses, all different types of businesses are looking for
when I
help.
left here last night, I went and was going to grab something to eat for the road home, but I like to go into lobbies and order it. I don't like to go through drive-thrus.
I'm married to the same guy. Yep.
You know, and so I went. Well, I'll just say who it is. I went to Arby's across the highway.
Road there, yep.
Okay. And there's a sign on the door that says our lobby is closed due to staffing issues.
Wow.
And so therefore their lobby is closed all the time.
Oh my.
Because they cannot find enough workers.
See, yeah, the food industry is particularly hit hard. The restaurant industry is really struggling trying to do this, but suitable work. People can find suitable. You know what?
I think suitable
plenty.
Work, yeah. I think the definition of suitable work to me is if you need to provide a living for your family.
Precisely.
That's suitable
work. It's not
work.
rocket science. So let's take a look at the numbers. This last graphic is unbelievable here. When you actually look at this, it says the U.S. unemployment rate ticked up to 14.7% in April as local lockdowns, which kicked millions out of work and onto generous government benefits, have complicated recovery. No truer words could possibly have been said. I thought that was very concise. The average state benefit is $330 per week. With the extra $300 federal supplement, beneficiaries are raking in an average of $630 per week, which comes out to more than $32,000 a year, about double the national minimum wage. Leave that up for a second so people can look at those numbers. This is what's going on, folks. This is de-incentivizing our workforce, unfortunately, to the point where they're making more money
Absolutely.
by staying home and accepting those benefits. This is a real problem. I just think that poor employees, employers. The employers are just howling. They're like, listen, we can't staff, we can't find good
get
people.
Enough workers.
They're pretending to apply, but they're actually just filling the forms out and have no intention of working.
Yeah, there's, and so they're going through the motions, but they're intentionally canning the interview on the phone when they call and request that they got work. I mean, it's sad.
It is sad. Anyway, all right, when we come back, I'm very excited to announce that we will have another national guest on tonight. And this time, the American, I make sure I get it correct here, it is the American Farm Bureau Federation president when we come back.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work. Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature Heroes, with the region's only Hero meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Your Bismarck Bucks are hitting the road this week, Saturday, May 29th, for a 7:05 p.m. kickoff in Des Moines, Iowa, as we take on the Iowa Barnstormers for the IFL Game of the Week. Catch the game locally on Beck Sports and on our national television partner, Stadium, as the Bismarck Bucks look to improve to 4-1 on the season. Hey, go Bucks!
Welcome back to No Apologies on Beck. My name is Lori Hins. With me, the very kind Daryl Lease for being here. And honestly,
Kind? Boy, that,
you are, because you put up with me for this many days.
I'm going to play this clip for my wife.
Going to have a conversation with my husband as well, too. Like, and you did that for 4 days. Wow. All right. So with us today via Zoom, I'm very, very pleased to announce, is the American Farm Bureau Association president since 2016. Zippy Duvall. Zippy, thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited to have you on No Apologies today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I look forward to the show and great conversation with my friend Daryl there.
Yes, yeah. You know Daryl. So can you tell me where you're at? Where are you located? You sound like I'm thinking something south.
Yes, I live in Georgia. I'm halfway between Atlanta and Augusta on my 4th generation farm. I spent my life dairying, but now I'm in the beef business, and this is my 35th year growing broiler chickens for Pilgrim Pride.
Wow, wow, wow. And I read somewhere that you do all your own hay too. That is a lot of work.
You know, everybody says they're in the beef business, but really you're in the grass business. I'm a grass farmer. I grow grass. What the chicken leaves behind grows a lot of grass in Georgia.
Thank you for that visual.
The circle of life.
hey, I tell everybody I'm a unique person and I don't talk like that. And they say, well, you don't talk like that. And I said, well, I'm the only person I know that spread chicken litter after church on Sunday and shook hands with President Trump on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, that's great. Let's show a picture of him as 7
let's
Trump.
show
That
this.
is really good because I had them.
There you are.
There you are. There's a picture of you and President Trump and Skippy Duvall with Zippy Duvall. You know what? I've been trying to figure out the name. Your nickname is very interesting. So your given name is Vincent, but I want to call you Skippy and Tippy and Zippy. And I am thinking, as the mother of 3 boys, that when you were a little kid, you were all over the place, and say they just called you Zippy. He's
actually got a unique story.
Really?
I think it's his granddad, actually, wasn't it, Zippy?
No, it was my mother. I was my mother's second child, first C-section, and they claimed that my dad said we was going to have a big family. He was upset. The nurses said no problem. will put a zipper in her stomach.
No way, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my.
So
And from then on,
I was nicknamed Zipper, and then about a couple of years later, when I was zipping around, it went from Zipper to Zippy.
Oh, that's hilarious.
See, I had to tell the story because everybody's mind starts wandering and it can't go in a good place. So
Yeah, I'm sure your mother was really pleased to hear about the zipper C-section too. I'm sure she was very happy about that. So let's dive into some talk about agriculture, and let's talk particularly about, well, we have just actually last night talked about 30 by 30 on this program and just kind of described it a little bit, or 1 or 2 nights ago, I can't recall anymore. But we have already talked a little bit about 30 by 30, but I want your perspective as the president of the American Farm Bureau Federation.
Well, you got to understand my position is to work with who the voters send to Washington, regardless of how they get there, and whether or not we agree with the way they got there. But my job is to build those relationships and try to make the best outcome using our policies from our farmers. So the 30 by 30, everybody is scared to death of it. We still should be very cautious about it. But I will tell you that I've talked to Secretary Vilsack numerous times about 30 by 30. He and I talked before they made let the report come out. I also was on several Zoom calls with staff people all over the administration, making sure that our farmers' policies were being heard, telling them what our concerns was. One being that we want to make sure that our farmers and ranchers could utilize multiple use on federal lands and continue to do that, and talk about what benefits that brings with that. 2, we want to make sure when they created any kind of what now they call it an atlas on carbon sequestration, we want to make sure that our personal privacy is protected, and then our private property rights are protected, and that every program within 30 by 30 should be voluntary. Our farmers have responded to voluntary programs for years and years and years. We've been doing it for years and years and years, and we want to make sure that everything is voluntary, market-based, and incentivizes us to do that. That way, if you choose to do it, you can do it. If you don't choose to do it, you don't have to do it. The other thing, and the last point I'll make, and I'll let you go on with it, I want to make sure that our farmers are recognized for all the great work they've done in the last 2 or 3 decades. You know, I don't farm like my grandfather did. I don't farm like my daddy did. And we have done great work over the last year. The baseline needs to be set way back there, not now.
I was going to actually agree with you too early on, because that's kind of what we said. Darryl said, he said, we've been doing this. We've been stewards of the land. We've already perfected this. I don't know why we need to even participate so much in that.
And Zippy, you know, one of the things that is concerning, and especially in the western states, as you're well aware of, is, you know, we've heard some talk out of the White House about using the Antiquities Act. And we know what happened in Utah, you know, a few, 4, 5, 6 years ago when they expanded the national monument out there, just large scale, and it took away that multiple use that you talk about.
Right.
And that's not healthy for the land, and it's not healthy for the economies in those states.
That's exactly right. And where you see that's happening, where federal lands and federal timber is not managed, you see rural communities shrink up and just die on the vine. So we talk about that a lot, Darryl, to make sure that this multiple use is allowed to continue out there. It's been there for generations and generations.
Now, let's speak to private property rights. How do you feel the administration is viewing private property rights? And is that something where the states need to try to do legislation where they can protect private property rights? What is your suggestion?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, you know, if there's an area that we're concerned about is whether is the federal government overreaching their reach and getting in the way of local governments. We know the best government is local government, and it really depends on what state you're in, whether or not you'll say that. But in Georgia, state government is local government.
That's very true.
We worry about that overreach. I will tell you though, I've talked so much to Secretary Vilsack about this. Just yesterday, he called me about another matter. We discussed it. I brought it back up again. He says, as long as I'm sitting in this office, 35 by 30 will not be a land grab. So we continue to hammer home those points that are represented in our policy.
Yeah, that's what we were worried about. We were most concerned about an actual land grab and that it would be, moved away from farmers and toward these large monuments and large acreages.
And the concern we all should have, though, is he won't always be there. Like Sonny Perdue wouldn't have already been there. So it's who comes next and how are they going to treat it. And we want to make sure none of this bleeds over into our risk management tools like crop insurance. We can't afford to let that bleed over. Darrell, I've been in your state. I know how conservation compliance has bled over into crop insurance, and we can't allow that to happen in this deal.
Right, and Zippy's well aware of the drum I beat every time I get to our meetings and our policy sessions that we have about protecting private property rights and making sure they're not, linking everything together that you do that makes it totally restrictive to do anything on your farms and ranches.
Right.
And Darrell, I have beated that drum for you too.
Oh, yeah.
We've been in USDA several times to talk about that issue.
I have heard the story of him putting his fist down on the table across from a secretary going, you need to understand what position our farmers are in. So.
Well, it's good to have a good advocate like that, just saying.
There you go.
Zippy, if we could hold you over for another segment, we will come back and we'll talk taxes and labor when we come back.
Okay.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Prairie Patriot Firearms and Training is the region's most complete gun and training center. 5-lane indoor range, a gun shop, and a certified training facility. Firearms training courses are offered daily for new, intermediate, and advanced shooters. If you're not comfortable in a classroom setting, Prairie Patriot offers one-on-one private lessons, from basic self-defense training to concealed weapons testing, along with a full line of guns, ammunition, holsters, and concealment clothing. Prairie Patriot, 3930 Memorial Highway, prairiepatriot.com.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Welcome back to No Apologies Without Becker, your after-hours oasis of sanity, even regardless of, even without him. We have all sanity here on this show. I'm very, very, very pleased to have with me North Dakota Farm Bureau President Darrell Lease as my co-host, and we are talking today we're going to actually talk taxes and labor issues in this segment via Zoom with American Farm Bureau Federation President Zippy Duvall. And thank you so much from Georgia for zooming in here today. This is the one thing about COVID that does actually, it makes it a benefit, and that is people are so much more familiar with Zoom. We can talk to people from all over now.
Everyone upgraded their technical capabilities last year.
It is. It's very handy dandy, and I'm certain you probably talk to many people via Zoom, don't you, Zippy?
Yeah, well, I do 7 or 8 Zoom calls a day, so it's been a great way to connect. But boy, am I ready to see people.
Yeah, no kidding.
I concur. I'm totally with you on that one, too. So let's talk a little bit about labor and taxes and things that have to do with agriculture as well. But how will increasing capital gains taxes affect, and how is that going to hurt farmers and ranchers?
Well, first off, who wants to talk about taxes after supper at night? So, I mean, nobody wants to do that. But let me tell you, everybody ought to talk about it and ought to listen to this, because of all the issues that's facing agriculture in Washington, D.C., taxes could destroy our industry for the next generation. And if you start talking about, and it doesn't just affect farmers, it affects farmers and small businesses across America. Farmers are the one that started this country, and small businesses is the one that built this country, and we are small businesses. But if you take just the capital gains and lose the opportunity to be able, or the stepped up basis, what I wanted to use, stepped up basis. If we lose the right to take the stepped up basis, we will have farmers who are, we're not rich people, but we do have a lot of land, but we don't have a lot of cash, and we pass away and our families don't have the cash to pay the taxes that are due, and they'll have to sell the farm to be able to pay those taxes, and that is just a disaster. And paying capital gains at death is just as bad. So we want to make sure that we're watching what they do with that. And I think this battle will be won and lost on Capitol Hill, won or lost. And I think it will be won if we can get the farmers and ranchers and the grassroots of this great organization stirred up enough to keep calling Capitol Hill, saying you cannot destroy the future of our industry and our farms by taking away stepped up bases and putting capital gains due at death. And the state taxes are important to us.
Yep.
Well, and we need all those small businesses, like you said, too, Zippy,
that
depend on the agricultural and rural community to make sure they call their delegations also.
That's exactly right. If we all just, I tell everybody, it's kind of like taking your kids on vacation. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That's the way we ought to do it on Capitol Hill.
You do. Yep. You have to be persistent. There's no question. And this is the perfect program to do call to action stuff, Zippy, because our viewers are great about that.
They're engaged.
They're engaged. They know.
That's awesome. And if you're a member of North Dakota Farm Bureau, you also get the alerts from American Farm Bureau saying, call your congressman about this tax issue or any other issue that we're pushing for that comes from our policy.
Yep, it's a good call to action.
Yep,
that's exactly right. And a lot of people are at that point now where they're like, okay, I really need to be engaged because things are happening that I really can't see happening. And especially, and capital gains, it's like and then the death tax, it's a double tax essentially. It's like ridiculous.
That's exactly right. And just like I said, none of us are just wallowing in cash. We may have a lot of land, but it's our farm. And I tell people, won't you sell me an acre of land? I said, no. That'd be like selling the door off the bathroom of my house. I can't do that. So, I mean, that's how we feel about our farms.
That is a great way of putting it.
That's the way it is.
That is so true. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about labor. You know, we were talking earlier about how people just are not going to work in an earlier segment and how they're being paid to sit there. And I cannot imagine, but what sectors do you see are really struggling with labor shortages right now in agriculture?
Well, all across the board, and then in agriculture, this has been a 3-decade problem for us. let me tell you something. The biggest limiting factor that American agriculture has is the lack of labor. I mean,
really?
we got the soils, we got the waters, we got the technology. Now we lack some broadband, that's for sure. You know, we lack a streamlined approval process of tools that we could use to do a better job at farming and stay on the cutting edge. We got the infrastructure that delivers things on time. We're the most productive farmers in America that protect our natural resources better than any other farmers in the world.
Right.
But our children go to school, they go to ag school and they get a degree. They want to come home, and to come home, you have to expand your business. To expand your business, you have to have labor. And we can't get people to work on the farm, and it's going to take a guest worker program that doesn't just talk about seasonal workers. Agriculture is year-round in a lot of cases, like dairy. There's 100,000 jobs in dairy alone right now.
Really?
And this labor bill that come out of the House had a cap on it at 20,000.
Oh, for
I mean, it
Pete's
doesn't
sake.
even come close. You know,
Wow.
so, and it's got to be affordable. Our small and medium-sized farms can't do these programs if they are not affordable. You know, there's so many problems with the bill that came out of the House, and we're positioned right now that the Senate is asking us, because we're the only organization that opposed or did not support that bill. And they're looking at us saying, what's wrong with it? What can we do to fix it?
So maybe in the Senate you can get them up to speed on that.
This has been a constant battle, and
Yeah.
it becomes a constant battle, and it even becomes a real height of discussion within American Farm Bureau Federation across states, because you deal with the illegal immigration versus the legal immigration, and we're talking about making legal immigration accessible, so people can come here legally
Right.
and provide that labor, that skill
But that whole
that we
system
need.
right now is so broken.
The whole system is broke, and
Yeah.
it's hard to get agreement in a majority on Capitol Hill.
But if you need
There's
that many
too
workers,
much politics in. We can't even keep our ag groups together, and we're trying really hard. But everybody's so desperate to have a little bit of a small pool of workers. They're willing to accept anything. My job is to make sure that we try to fill every farmer's needs, and we're going to hold out to the very end to try to make that happen.
That sounds good. Well, we were just talking about it too. Daryl and I were talking about legal immigration for farmers too. Is there something that you can see on the horizon that you would like to see with legal immigration, Zippy?
Yes, we need a guest worker program that allows workers to come in here and have a structure for them to pay taxes under, to be able to go back and forth, see their families, to have a green card that works. We need them to work year round. We need a wage formula that actually works. We need to take some regulation out of it. The bill that's up there now has private right of action in it, which increases the liability to our farmers. We don't need that. We need to make sure that this is a program that all farmers, all sizes can utilize, and it not be so burdensome on our farmers that they have to have HR departments and lawyers working with them to make it happen.
Yeah, nobody needs the more bureaucracy and regulations for sure. Not when you've got hay to.
And I don't know that a lot of people understand, Lori, that the H-2A worker system out there, you know, a lot of people think, oh, those farmers are just bringing in those workers and not paying anything for them.
Oh, they jump through hoops.
They jump through hoops. A, they pay their travel here. They have to pay their travel back. When they're here, they have to provide housing. The housing has to be inspected. They have to provide mode of transportation. And the wage that they have to pay is set for them. So that ends up costing a lot of money.
And in most cases, Daryl, all those farmers are paying them more than that set wage. Because
they are.
You're like me. If you get someone on your farm that's going to give you a hard day's work and going to work hard and not complain about it, he's going to show up on time, aren't you going to pay him more than what he's?
Oh, yes.
You want him to come back next time.
Wage is? That's exactly right. You want him back on Monday, you know.
Yep. Quickly, Zippy, we got just a minute here left on the segment. Explain a little bit the concern. I brought it up the other night on the show that, you know, the border states, the southern border states, are requesting us other farm bureaus to sign a letter about the issues down along the border with illegal immigration happening. Talk just quickly about that in the last 30, 40 seconds here.
Yeah, you know, what's going on at our border now is not good. Those people, a lot of those people, not all of them, a lot of those people coming here are coming here to do bad things. And a lot of our farmers and ranchers that live along the border are having things stole out of their barns. People are camping out on their property in their barns. A lot of our farmers feel threatened and scared. I mean, I've even heard of some farmers having to hire guards to stand around their homesteads. I mean, it really is a mess down there, and somebody needs to get control of it and get it back in order.
I've heard the same thing. My mom and dad go and winter down in the Rio Grande Valley, and they have a farmer friend who got his truck stolen. And that's very, very common down there. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. We are so grateful for having you. You gave us some great information, a lot to think about, and thank you. We'll have you on once again if we can.
Yeah, thanks, Zippy.
I would love to do that. I've enjoyed it, and I'll sit there with my friend Daryl anytime he wants to have a conversation.
Awesome.
Thank you much, Zippy.
Take care.
Thank
so
y'all.
much.
God bless you.
You bet. You too.
You too.
All right, when we come back, we are going to talk a little bit about kids and masks on children. Stay with us.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
When you're buying windows, make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Hi, I'm Jesse with the Window Source. We only sell you the best windows and doors for the best price. Call the Window Source. Just because you pay less doesn't mean you get less.
If you don't know what's going on in education in this country, then you don't know what's going to happen in the future of this country. And it's important. I'm Dr. Duke.
And I'm Katie.
Watch the Dr. Duke Show weekdays at 4 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to pull them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to No Apologies on Beck. I am Lori Hins, with me Daryl Leese, and we've been kind of chatting here on the break about masks and children, and I am not a big advocate for masking up little kids, and there's really very little science that says that it's a good idea. They have the by far lowest incidence of infection from COVID, but now that the school year is coming to an end, I think it'll be very interesting to see if masks make an appearance again in the fall. Many schools next fall, are they going to require masks? Who knows? I think we can safely say that the masking small children has been one of the most controversial things, especially for parents.
I don't, with the emergency declaration gone, I would say that parents have every right to challenge if your school is going to make your kids wear a
There's
mask.
so many issues involved here. We're talking about children not being able to learn about people's expressions. They can't see expressions on people's faces. Breathing, just purely oxygen to the brain when those little brains of mush are starting to form. And it is, it's a tough situation for parents because they know they want to follow the rules, and parents and grandparents are really in a tough situation because they have to comply with this edict.
Well, they're forced to comply, and that's the problem with it, Lori, is they are forced because they're told they can't go to school if they're not wearing it. In fact, our school up in Garrison, North Dakota, administration threatened a parent with calling Child Protective Services if they were going to send their kids to school without masks the following Monday after Governor Burgum relinquished on the 30th the emergency
Rescinded
order.
it and it was out done.
It was gone.
Unbelievable. Wow, that's tough. Well, in case you missed it, I gleaned a couple of really cool videos that I happened to see. I kind of banked them. I'd see them and I put a little note down. I want to go back and look at this video later. So I have found a couple of videos about children, and they are actually themselves speaking up about wearing masks. Let's look at this little girl first.
And I don't think barely anybody likes masks in schools. Their children are suffocating. You don't know what it feels like, and it's nonsense. Seriously. Like, why would you do that? Why in the world would you do that? And God created us so we can be free people. And we're not being free here or at public schools. Okay? So I would take your masks off if I were you. And I'm not wearing a mask right now, and I never will as much as I can. And George Washington made America so we could be free citizens of the United States of America. And the Statue of Liberty is for liberty and freedom, and we're not free. So maybe you just don't believe in George Washington or God, or like the boss of you or someone is controlling you. Stand up.
Stand up, she
Wow.
says. I was like, oh.
Wow.
Out of the mouths of babes.
I didn't see that one.
Isn't
I missed
that good?
one.
Yeah, there's a couple of them out there, videos where children are just standing up and saying their piece, and she really.
I hope that there's school teachers and administrators out there, you're watching that one right there.
Yep.
Because that is what our public education system should be teaching.
Exactly.
There's a little lady that has critical thinking.
Liberty and freedom from
and
a little
liberty and
munchkin.
freedom.
Yep.
I mean, I'm telling you what.
I don't know what grade she was in. I was not able to find that, but I did find another video too, which I don't know if you've seen before. This one you may have seen before. This is a little gentleman named John who is a 10-year-old boy, and he explains that he feels like children in schools have been robbed. Let's take a look at this one.
Turned 10 years old.
Talk a little closer to that. So
I just turned 10 years old, and I am a 4th grader at Felix A. Williams. I expected school to be a little bit different in the beginning, but I didn't think it would stay this way all year long, and I was surprised by the rules. A lot of them didn't make any sense to me, like the fact that we were not allowed to play on the playground or have student council, or turn to face each other at lunch. And we also have to wear masks outside at PE and on track. I love my school and all, but my teachers seem really stressed, and that makes me feel bad. One teacher walks around with a clipboard full of referrals for any student whose mask isn't on properly. It makes me feel scared. That same teacher yells at us having our masks down to drink water while we are outside in car line. She told us we had to wait until we were in our parents' car to have a drink of water. She had her mask down the entire time while she was yelling at us, which makes me and all my friends very mad. This happens a lot. And it seems unfair teachers take their masks off while they yell at us kids and that we need to pull ours up. I asked my mom if there is a word for this, and she said there is. Hypocrisy. Wearing a mask all day makes me feel really tired and gives me really bad headaches. Sometimes I'm in school and I need to lay low in the dark until they're gone. My mask also sticks to my face when it's really hot and it makes it hard to breathe. I feel like I can't catch my breath and that makes me feel claustrophobic and anxious. It's really stressful. I finished taking all of my FSAs and I had a hard time focusing with a mask on. A few weeks ago, I ran into my teacher outside of school. She didn't even recognize me because she's never seen my face before. But I knew it was her because she sits at her desk a lot without a mask on. I know my teacher has asthma and everything, but I understand why it's hard for her to wear a mask, and I think she should have that choice. But I should too. I have allergies, and I feel really anxious with my face covered, but I'm not allowed a mask break like her. It seems unfair. All this seems unfair and it doesn't make sense. I miss seeing people's face. I miss the way things used to be. I'm scared they'll never go back to normal. Breathing freely doesn't seem like something we should have to ask any other people for permission for. Please make masks optional today. It would be so awesome to end the school year on a really happy note like that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, John. You did a good job.
And a fist bump and a lot of cheering by parents in the background there.
Wow. I mean,
yep.
Talk about, that's inspiring
It
to
is
see
inspiring.
a young person like that at 10 years old. You can tell that he gets a lot of education at home.
Yes, he does.
And rightly so. I mean, we as parents got to provide education at home too.
Precisely.
In fact, we shouldn't rely on the public education system to provide it all. And that's a sad thing, is we've become too reliant.
Very
on it.
apathetic as parents.
Right.
And I was absolutely guilty when my kids were younger too, and I tried to get people involved. Now, I will say that the advent of COVID has made parents a lot more aware of what's going on in the schools. So
Yep.
advocate for your kids, pay attention to them, and he had me when he
Show
said,
these videos to your kids.
right? She didn't know me because she hadn't seen my face. All right, when we come back, we're going to take a dive into the mailbag, so join us. We'll be
It's a
right
full
back.
one too.
Yeah, it is.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Spas, etc. Yeah. You've come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you could pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York to go. We deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
There it is, our No Apologies mailbag graphic. We have a lot of responses, so we're going to have to whip through them pretty quick here on this last segment. But we're on segment 5. You are watching No Apologies on Beck. I am Lori. This is Daryl. And we actually talked about this a couple nights ago. We talked about vaccinations. We had Tara Ducart on, and she was talking about Health Freedom North Dakota. So let's take a look at the first graphic. Why do we need exemptions and options to opt out of vaccinations? We asked on our Facebook post. And guess what they did? They put a disclaimer. The COVID Information Center for Vaccine Resources, get vaccine information right on it every time. Thanks, guys. Anyway, on the right, some people started answering it, and somebody said, we should not. Most of the vaccines given to children are for childhood illnesses that have been turned into fear factors. With the current recourses, modern technology, and advancements in medicine, our medical fields should be focusing on educating prevention, treatments, and cures. Then the next person says, we need to get rid of all medical mandates. This one-size-fits-all approach is dangerous and is certainly not based on science. In addition, there are 3 more responses on here, and I just have a portion of some of the responses because we got a lot of responses on this. So thank you very much for everybody for weighing in. So we are to live in this new world where we might need proof that we were properly vaccinated, but we can't ask for proof that the vaccine works. Where they can order you to wear a mask and you are not allowed so much as your own opinion on whether it is proper medically to wear that mask. Where they can make sure certain functions where people gather were totally shut down, church for example, all the while district and state level people, all the while they are still going on. Yet it's wrong if we the people ask for anyone who wants to vote to show some ID,
Amen.
to reduce fraud. So I'm not sure if we still live in the state of North Dakota or the state of unrest. And I like the state of North Dakota. Please do some surveys to find out how many nursing home and long-term care residents that died from a broken heart, whether they had COVID or not, denying them to see relatives, and in some cases even a priest or minister or any faith-based representative. I hate it each time Bergen would use that term, he says, to see a person who is dying, and that critical time of life, the end, when they really needed loved ones at their side. Do a survey of staff at these facilities, and the stories of broken hearts will astound you. Very interesting stuff. We shouldn't need any exemptions or options to opt out of any medical procedure, no matter how small or large. We should be able to make our own health decisions for anything without pressure. All right, on the next topic, we have at the very top, you see, are you going back to the movie theaters? If not, what is your alternative for entertainment? This was our question from just yesterday's show, so last night's show. On the left, it says, I am tired of woke garbage and remakes. Also, I am tired of Hollywood actors and actresses telling peasants like us to go to theaters to watch their trash movies because they are going broke and don't want to live like every other normal person on the planet. If there was anything worth seeing, the next person says, I would. The last thing I saw in a theater was Overcomer, and I really enjoyed it. I'd be much more willing to go to the theater if they weren't full of sex, gore, or gross out scenes that has somehow become the standard for movies nowadays. The next person says, there's absolutely nothing in a theater worth spending time or money on. Another person disagrees. I enjoy going to the movie theater. The hard part is finding a movie, especially since the majority of the actors are so far out of touch with reality. And the person says, didn't go before, don't plan on going now. As for alternative entertainment, that's what books are for. I think I finished that up at the end here too. Hollywood isn't getting money. They stand for everything I stand against. They aren't getting my money. All I have is my money to speak my position. No, Hollywood screwed themselves. I don't need their filth, they say. Our town has a small community-owned theater run mostly by volunteers. If there's something worth seeing, I'm going to support our small town. Plus, their popcorn can't be beat. I love
said
that.
the popcorn. I brought the popcorn up the other night.
Yeah, that's so good. I don't understand this next one. 6-pack and a bug zapper, maybe? Hollywood has lost their imagination. Movies are either remakes or cookie-cutter renditions of comic books. Nothing in the theaters I want to see. Stream movies on Amazon and Acorn. I didn't even know about Acorn. Did you know about Acorn?
No, I didn't know about Acorn.
You
I'm
can
not
watch,
hip like
now I
that.
know, now you can watch Facebook videos. Why go to the movies when movies can come to you, they say. Another person says, I never left because of COVID fear. I haven't been in any movies. I just haven't been into any movies that have been released recently. Are there enough Hollywood actors to make movies these days? My guess would be no.
Didn't they all move out to Canada or something?
I think so. They were going to leave. They were going to leave. Zero Hollywood support now that the Golden Globes are canceled. Hopefully the Academy Awards, People's Choice Awards, and others will fall just as quickly, they say. I've gone for months and months. I'm not afraid of a virus. Oh my, OMG, people, move on.
Well, there you have
That's
it.
good stuff.
I mean,
now, our next one came as a message. If you recall, if you were watching the show when Rick was here before he was gone for a while, he was talking about Bolingbrook. And when he was talking about Bolingbrook, he did a quote from Henry St. John Bolingbrook. And I think the word want, this person says, means lack or deprivation. I believe this changes the progression of his argument to be more understandable to a layman like me. Thoroughly enjoy your show. So thank you for that little tidbit. And the last one was just from yesterday, and it says, you two are on fire tonight. Loved your rant, Daryl. What was your rant about?
my rant was about the BLM flag being flown at embassies around the nation and be encouraged by the Secretary of State.
It was about patriotism.
Absolutely.
He was ranting about patriotism. So thank you very much for sitting in with me this week.
It's been enjoyable. Thanks for the invite.
I really appreciate it. I will be back on with Rick. It'll be a while after he returns from his sabbatical. I'm just making stuff up now. But we will be back to somewhat normal, as normal can be on Becker. And it's going to be some encore presentations in between, but by June 7th, we will be back. And he will be back at the Bourbon Bureau, and I will be back in the chair. So thank you for joining us.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
You bet.